Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya. Rameshwaraya, Shiv Rameshwaraya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya. Rameshwaraya, Shiv Rameshwaraya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya. Rameshwaraya, Shiv Rameshwaraya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anil ji, for the beautiful prayer. शुरू किया आपने मंडे बड़ा अच्छी तरह से. Beautiful Monday beginning, and I want to welcome, actually good morning in New York, for some time it's good afternoon somewhere else, good evening somewhere in India, it's good evening, but I want to welcome everybody wherever you are. Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Good evening, good afternoon. Let me close the sound.
किसी का फोन ऑन है?
नहीं phone on नहीं है, इसकी आवाज आती है unless you close everything.
Okay. Yeah, I go sir.
Yes, you got an echo kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I hope your audience enjoying life wherever you are. I just want to welcome today, of course, my co-host Anil ji and Asha ji, and today we have a special guest, Pooja Mehta. She's from New Jersey, and she's a solo practitioner at her law firm, Dalal and Mehta, in Island, New Jersey. She specializes in the areas of family immigration, case appeals, immigration options for domestic violence victims, and deportation defense. She is a local resident of Burlington City in New Jersey. She assists the immigrant community all over the United States, being a first-generation immigrant herself. She understands the complicated obstacles that are presented during the immigration process. Her work is focused on not only making sure immigration petitions are approved, but creating strategies with the clients to give them the gift of quality time with their loved ones. In 2021, she started a web series called Our Stories to help counter the recent rise in Asian violence and negative rhetoric surrounding immigrants as a result of the previous presidential administration. Our Stories is dedicated to presenting stories of how immigrants are shaping up our lives for the better. Yes, I remember last year there were a lot of cases against, I think, elderly Asians during the city, especially in New York City. There were a lot of cases. I remember that. So welcome, Pooja, for this platform, Dil Diyan Gallan. Welcome today. I think we were trying to get you before, but because of the holidays, you're working and all that. Can you hear me, Pooja? It looks like you're frozen a little bit. Are you okay? Pooja, are you there?
Pooja? Okay.
She looks like she's thoda frozen over there.
We can't hear you.
Maybe if I go back to Zoom, and maybe she'll be all right.
No, I think she's okay.
Oh, there, now I can hear you. Sorry. We could not hear you before. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही थी.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yes.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
We were a little bit frozen in the middle, but anyway, welcome.
I can hear you.
You can hear me, okay. Welcome today, and let me go back and welcome. As I said before, that I just gave you introduction. So, I'm very happy that you joined us today.
Thank you. No, thank you, Veena ji. Thank you, everyone.
Over here. Yeah.
Very kind of you to think of our firm, and hopefully everyone that's watching, we can help them, give them some more information about their issues, and whatever we can't cover on air, obviously we can always cover privately.
Yes,
sometimes
you can give your information to our audience, and then if they have any immigration questions or something, they can contact you directly on your office number or work number. They can contact.
Absolutely.
So that's what we want. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What kind of cases you get, and all the kind of people you get. They're from all over the walks of life, or certain particular community, or just general talk. अपनी बताना कौन कौन आपके पास आते हैं लोग.
So to give a brief introduction about the firm was started by our senior partner, Mr. Suresh Dalal. वो अभी पिछले साल गुजर गए थे, but at 92. तो उन्होंने ये फर्म खोला था in 1977 when he immigrated here. तो काफी पुराना हमारा immigration चल रहा है, and we are just carrying on his legacy, trying to help people come to this country legally. And ऐसे कहने की बात नहीं है, but really we are very proud of the work that we do in immigration, क्योंकि we are creating generational changes. पहली generation आती है, उनको green card मिलता है. Second generation, they go off and they do beautiful things that maybe they would not be able to do elsewhere. So we really are changing people's lives. And in terms of what type of work we do, as you've already said, we do a lot of family immigration, deportation defense, appeals. Kabhi अच्छे cases for some reason or the other get denied improperly. So we fight with the immigration agencies to get your cases reinstated. We just had an appeal approved actually last week. It was really exciting. 3 साल लगे थे हमें वो केस लड़ते, but we got it reinstated. So it was very exciting. इस हद तक भी जो पुराने 10, 12 साल, 15 साल पुराने केसेस होते हैं, जो लोगों को पता भी नहीं है कि डिनाई हो गए हैं. फिर इंडिया से कोई कॉल करता है, वो कहते हैं कि दीदी भैया मेरे केस का कुछ आप देखिए, फिर पता लगता है उन्हें. तो वो केसेस भी हमने रीइंस्टेट कराए हैं. And then obviously thank you. And the last topic really, which is very close to my heart, and a big speciality for the firm, is helping people in domestic violence. And domestic violence victims are not just women, they are men, they are elderly. जैसे हमारे माँ बाप हैं. वीना जी, हमारी पहले बात हो रही थी कि जैसे लोग अपने माता पिता को यहाँ पे बुला लेते हैं, और जब काम खत्म हो जाता है तो फिर उनको कहीं का नहीं छोड़ते, unfortunately.
I just heard that case just not even 10 days ago.
जी.
I was shocked. I said, why parents को बुलाओ, बच्चों को भी, they take care of your house, they cook and clean and everything, and then जब टाइम आता है तो फिर उनको बोलो bye bye, find your own place. तो वो बेचारे कहाँ जाएंगे,
It's very sad. And part of the work that we do is in these type of relationships, people don't realize कि उनके पास options हैं. अभी पीछे I'll tell you, in April हमने फाइल किया था. इनका क्या था कि पहले उनकी second marriage हुई थी. So first husband passed away many years ago, then she got remarried almost 10-15 years later. So when she came here, her second husband here, उन्होंने काफी controlling, जैसे unfortunately हमारे थोड़ा होता है देसी community में, honestly in many communities, but हमारे में थोड़ा है unfortunately. And काफी दबा के रखा था कि मैं तेरे papers file कर दूंगा, I'll do this, I'll do that. Ultimately he never did anything. 2 साल उसके ऐसे निकल गए. Then she finally found us, came to us, we filed her paperwork. That itself took almost a year of processing time. So now she's lost 3 years going in between doing nothing. Finally, when the interview came in January of this year, and we trained him for the interview. We, train means we do coaching, we prepare them with preparation techniques so that our clients are ready for the immigration interview. Intentionally, he went and he lied in the whole interview. to our face. I mean, I had told him everything and he blamed everything on the attorneys. My attorney never showed me any paperwork. I don't know what this is. I don't know what my wife is doing. I don't know this XYZ. So obviously she came out of that interview just crying and hopeless and saying, ki, what am I supposed to do with myself?
Yes.
And we're able to give her options. Ki, aap zaruri nahi hai, you have to stay with an abusive husband or an abusive wife. We have clients out in, South Carolina, Tennessee has a huge Gujarati population that we serve.
Yes.
And it's very similar, it's not just with women. People will call their spouses, husbands will come to the United States. And then, they think that they're just going to be abused. And unfortunately, there are options for you to get your green card out of these situations.
Okay, Pooja, I'm getting a question here. One of our good friends, Gautam Chopra is right here. Welcome, Gautam. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And if you have any more questions, please do write over here, and then I can ask. Pooja, she's right here. I'm going to ask her this question that Gautam is requested. He wants to know how long does it take bringing someone from India on a fiancé visa, or is it a good idea having to get married first and then apply for visa after that? Is it good? I mean, a fiancé visa is better, or is it a good idea to get married and then apply for the visa?
So thank you for the question, Gautamji. I'll give you a basic short answer. I mean, obviously we'd have to do a consultation to see what's specific for you. But fiancé visa is not really recommended right now because fiancé visa itself is taking about a year and a half, 2 years even for some embassies. So, depending where you are in the country. So I don't recommend it. In the time frame that you're going to file a fiancé visa, you can file for the marriage-based application and it'll get approved. When you file the fiancé visa, your fiancé will come to America, and then you have to, after getting married here, you have to then process the green card. So now you're tacking on an additional 2 years of processing time. So 4 years before the poor girl even gets a green card. Not recommended in my opinion, but please do call us or email us at law@dalalmehta.com, or our phone number is 732-283-7400. I mean, you can Google our name, everything's online. But in short, fiancé visa is not recommended, and depending on where you are in the world, marriage-based is the best option. Filing marriage-based applications from America is really the best option, but obviously you have to have a visa to first enter. So if you don't have that, then that gets ruled out.
So so you think getting married is easier and better? And
absolutely.
Then,
absolutely.
Okay, it's quicker. It won't take long, as like you just said, takes extra couple of years if you had a fiancé visa. So it's better to get married, and then if he let's say gets married, goes to India, finds someone, how long does it take on marriage base?
If you're coming from India, right now marriage-based.
No, because he's here, but let's say scenario is that he goes to India, finds somebody, and he wants to get married to somebody there, and bring her here, and he gets married in India, and if he wants to bring her here, how long will the process? What do you have to do exactly to do all that process?
Sure. So in family-based applications, there's 3 stages. That's if you're proceeding with an embassy, meaning that your spouse is in a foreign country and they cannot come here and file in America. So the first step is that you're going to file.
He himself is a U.S. citizen.
Correct. He's a citizen, yeah. But he might not. But if the wife doesn't have her own independent visa, like a tourist visa or some other student visa to come to the country, then she's going to have to wait for an embassy interview. And in that instance, we have 3 stages. The first one is we have to file the petition with USCIS. That's basically to confirm whether the relationship is even real. If that relationship is considered real, it'll get processed in about 8 to 12 months. So that's 1 year right there.
Wow.
Yeah. The backlogs are quite heavy. Then it's going to move to step 2 at the National Visa Center. That I'm sure you've all become familiar. You must have heard, sponsor letter bhejna hai aur ye karne hai, wo karna hai. That's all at step 2, all the finances. That itself is taking about 3 to 8 months to process over there. Once that step is confirmed and moved on, then your case is going to be transferred to India for embassy processing, and that transfer and getting the interview can take another 3 to 6 months. So overall, you're looking at one and a half year to 2 years on the marriage-based application, or honestly, well, family-based. अगर आप अपने माँ बाप को भी बुलाते हैं India से, it's gonna take the same amount of time if you're a US citizen.
Okay, now another thing is, yeah, let's say if the, in this case, this is my question, if the girl or the guy, whoever wants to get married to the citizen over here in the United States, and the person is in India but has the tourist visa and is visiting here, if the person is visiting this country on a visa and then she gets married to a US citizen, then what happens? Does she go back or she stays here? She continues staying here until the process is over? Until she gets
right.
What is the process?
So that is, in short, that's a little more difficult. The reason for that is when you are entering on a visa, it's called a non-immigrant visa, meaning कि you're not immigrating. आप थोड़ी देर के लिए यहाँ पे अमेरिका आ रहे हैं with the intention to return to your home country. Right. So if you come here, get married, and now you have, if you want to stay here, it is recommended that you at least wait 3 months and then file whatever petition it is that you want to file. Again, what we do in our consultations, we will sit down with you and we will strategize, because based on road A or road B, you might not be able to go back to India for 1 year, 2 year, 8 months, whatever that might be. And if you have affairs that are open in India, then it might not be feasible for you to file here. So are there options for you to come here? The first step is you have to have your own non-immigrant visa. आज के time पे, if you don't have a tourist visa already issued to you, the processing time is already taking 1 year. I mean, the interviews are already into 2023.
I see. Now he's saying that आपको कह रहे हैं कि find me someone here, only better instead of putting 2 years time. तो फिर ये तो गौतम जी मुझे समझ नहीं आई, but I think you mean that you're going to find somebody here than to find somebody in India. That's better if you find somebody here to get married, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you find somebody here, and let's say they're a citizen, then you're all good.
But I thought a lot of people do come here. मैंने देखा कि they come on all kind of visas, student visas or tourist visa में आ रहे हैं, and then they, I mean, maybe not in the intention of getting married, but they meet somebody here. If they're studying, you never know. It happens. Not necessarily with that thing in mind. They do come here to study, but sometimes these things happen. कि भाई कोई मिल जाता है college में या you know whatever they're doing. You meet someone and then who wants to go back to India to get married? You want to get married here?
Get married here. And that's where it's so important, Veena ji, so important. I mean, yes, it's going to cost some money to have the immigration attorney, but if you have the immigration attorney, we will make sure that when we set up your application, we show immigration that this marriage was not intentional, because otherwise they're going to presume automatically that this is a contract marriage. So now what's going to happen is when you have your interview is going to be twice as hard. They might separate you. They might put you together. They might do a second interview. I've even had cases where they've done 3 rounds of interviews on a Saturday that lasted 4 hours long. That was horrible. But we got the case approved. But if you had just done it the right way from the beginning, by spending a little money, you're saving time, you're saving headache, and most importantly, you're saving unassurity. Right? You don't know what's going to happen to you, and फिर घर वाले भी पीछे आपको कहेंगे कि आप क्या कर रहे हो, क्यों नहीं कर रहे, लड़की नहीं आ रही, वो, you know, it creates a lot of distrust very early on in the relationship. So,
that is where your immigration office comes in handy. Then you have to go through you to do all this process, and that'd be much easier or quick for both the couple when they get married, planning to get married. They go through you, you help them out. So that makes the process much easier than to go do it everything by themselves, you know.
Absolutely.
That's where they need the help that time. So that's the thing. These are the cases that these are marriage is one of the biggest cases that you get. People getting married, they want to go back home. Their parents find them a girl or whatever the thing may be. So these are the cases you hear a lot. My wife is stuck there, or whatever the fiance visa. You hear a lot of these things. It takes time. I think Pakistan mein thoda easier hai. If I'm not mistaken, I have a lot of Pakistani friends, and they're always saying they go back and get married and they come. I don't know. They don't.
It's funny that you're saying. I don't think Pakistan is easier. In fact, we just filed a lawsuit against immigration agency here in America, because we had a client from Pakistan. Her case has been delayed for almost 6 years. Her husband has been sitting in Pakistan.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been really traumatizing, honestly, for this young couple. They met when they were in their early 20s. They're almost in their 30s now.
Wow.
And abhi tak koi yahan pe nahi aaya. So we deal with those type of cases as well. So I can't say, I would say it's moving about at the same rate. In fact, sometimes they might have more problems.
Sorry.
Okay.
So these, that's what I'm saying. They're all different type of cases, different type of scenario. Different countries has different rules.
That's it.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Pooja, we got a question from Surinder Mehta. What is the method to apply for student visa? How a person can come to States on education base?
That's a great question.
Yes.
Thank you, Surinderji. So with the student visa, the best way to do a student visa really is, well, there's two ways. Either if you're already in India, if you're in India, then most likely you're going through some agency that's connecting you with a third-party school here in America. They will take care of all of your paperwork. In that situation, there's not much that we can do. Sometimes clients will seek our guidance, family will seek our guidance that, is this all legitimate? जो भी हमारे साथ हो रहा है, does that make sense? Because, in India, unfortunately, agencies का भी नहीं पता कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या नहीं कर रहे. Our role is more involved if, let's say, the child is already here in America on, let's say, a tourist visa, or shadi dekhne aaya or something else, and now they've realized maybe I can take a couple of courses or something. So it's important to know that the student visa, again, is a non-immigrant visa. There's no pathway to a green card directly, at least. In the future, if somebody picks you up for an H1 employment visa, or something like that, that's a different option. So in terms of going back to what our role is in this student visa, we can help coordinate you with the school of your choice. So as in hai ki hum aapko batayenge ki kahan pe school jana hai. You pick your school, you do your research, and then we can help you file your change of status, help you get the finances in order. Because again, for student visa, you have to show that you have the whole liquid cash available in your bank account. So if your tuition for the year is 30,000, 40,000, 60,000, you have to have that money available. Otherwise, your application is not going to get approved. And most usually, along with the tuition fees, you have to add an additional 15 to 20,000 for living expenses.
Right.
Because you want to prove to the government you're not going to become a liability on them. So these are good points to note in terms of financial qualifications for the student visa.
Yes. No, I just read your bio that you see a lot of abuse, like
domestic abuse,
violence, abuse of the year. So let's say we spoke about it briefly. Like somebody gets married in India and brings his wife. Okay, let's see all the process is over. She's finally here, but not treated properly by the domestic partner. And doesn't know anybody, doesn't know where to go. That itself that's a very difficult step for her to take. So that's where, how does she come and find out this is a big step? Who does she trust? What does she do? And when she comes to you, let's say you help her out. So what do you do with the domestic partner, or you help her? How you do that scenario?
Absolutely. So to give you that, to continue jumping off of that case I mentioned earlier, from April of this year, in that instance, what we did was we filed what's called a WAWA application. In the early 90s, there was a Congress here in America had passed the Violence Against Women's Act, WAWA. And it's for men, it's for straight couples, it's also for homosexual couples, because domestic violence is all across. So we have clients that are, from South America, and they come here in gay or homosexual relationships, and now they're being abused. So this is across the board, unfortunately. So what we do is the first thing we try to do is book a strategy session. In the strategy session, it's 2 points. The first point is we want to make sure they have all the documents and the evidence to prove that there was domestic violence. In some instances, they might not have anything. I'll tell you about a case that I had about, it was very exciting. It got approved last year. The poor woman got an arranged marriage. She was from Gujarat, from a very local village. And it was really sad because, you know, especially in the villages, right? वो लड़की लड़कों को बात करने भी नहीं देते. जब भी बात करनी है 10 लोग और बैठे होते हैं. So there's no communication. When she came here, after she got married and everything, she realized that her husband had a mental retardation. He was disabled. She didn't know that she had been duped. And after 2-3 days, she realized that I am not able to live in this type of relationship with this person, right?
Right.
So she told them that I want a divorce. They improperly filed a divorce against her, blaming her. Long story short, even in that situation, she had only been living in the house for 3 days. And we were able to ultimately get her green card approved by third-party evidences. We had a therapist evaluation done of her to show that, you know, she was clinically depressed and going through anxiety issues. That type of stuff is very helpful. We got affidavits from her family members. We got, you know, this was very creative on our part, bills, vendor bills, jewelry bills, kapde ke bill, ladko ko ye diya tha, wo diya tha, to show that this isn't a contract marriage. This was done in good faith by her parents, and they were in fact duped. So it takes time, but these things do get approved, and we're very lucky that we're in this country that has given these avenues to these individuals.
That is true.
You know,
I mean, this country is, I think, that way that they really do help all kind of victims a lot.
Yes.
If you go to the right place, right resources, there's a lot of help around. I just want to tell you that Surinder Mehta is thanking you for your answering him.
Thank you, Surinder.
Thanks a lot for asking that. Anybody else has any question?
Yeah, I have a question, Pooja. I have like a family member, and due to the COVID, her husband died, and she's like 35 years old, and she has 2 young kids. And the child, when the husband died, the little one was 1.5, the other one was 6 years old. And now the little one is 3 and the other one is 8. So I wanted to know how we can bring her over here to visit, or they'd like to change her mind, like, you know, something to.
Oh, they're in India.
So how she can come over here.
Her husband that passed away, he was Indian citizen?
Indian citizen. Yeah, Indian. He was,
Okay. So overall, the best situation here would be to file for that B1, B2 tourist visa. And what you can do is, part of the B1, B2 tourist visa process is to file Form I-134. It's the Affidavit of Support, which basically says that we'll take financial responsibility. Along with that paperwork, we usually like to build up the whole application to show that, you know, you guys are going to take her to Washington, D.C., take her to New York, take the kids to Disney World, whatever it might be that you think is a good idea. The point of that statement is to show intent on your part that this is really a tourist activity. And then we also put paperwork from the side of the individual in India saying that I have attachments. I have roots and attachments in India that I'm not willing to forsake. So I am going to come back. Right. Because most of the times these visas are not approved because they're worried people are going to overstay here. So in the instance of your family member or friend, one thing we could probably do is create a statement from her showing that perhaps she has properties that, you know, I don't have anyone to take care of my property. I have to come back. Otherwise, it'll be taken by looters, right? We can say that she's working, gainfully employed. I'm coming back. I'm only taking leave for 2 months. See, here's my employment letter. If the children, well, not if, the children I'm sure are enrolled in schools. So you can get a letter from the school saying that they are enrolled and the school restarts on such and such date. So the point of all of these things is to show attachments and roots to your home country. If she has like agar unke saas susur hai ya maa baap abhi bhi wahan pe hain, people that she's responsible to take care of.
I lost my sister, brother-in-law, her in-laws are gone, her husband, so she has nobody right now in the family. She's the only one left due to this thing happening.
then another thing that you could possibly do is in the application process, put down that the husband has passed away, and maybe get a clinical evaluation of her mental health. The mental health evaluation will show that she's going through some depression and she needs to change her environment. And it's recommended by the therapist that she seeks support from family members. Now,
okay, yeah.
To be clear, that this person doesn't really have a pathway to a green card.
Okay.
But she has a pathway to a tourist visa where she can come here for up to 6 months at a time, and then at least have that type of family connection to help her.
Okay. Thank you so much. This is really helpful because
we can always talk offline as well.
Yeah, sure.
Question about this thing, like I know the visa that they give the U.S. I think government is for 10 years nowadays. You can come and go for anything like that. I heard that.
So what happens is the duration of the visa, the length of time that it's valid is 10 years, but each visit can be no more than 6 months in a year.
Okay. So
either part, so it can be 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, but over the year it has to be no more than 6 months.
Okay, so after every, let's say 12 months, you can stay up to about 6 months, go back, and then come back again and again do the same thing.
Exactly. Now, I will just add one more point, that we are presuming that by law they're allowed to be here for 6 months, but sometimes based on your history, based on your work, many different factors, sometimes they might only let you in for 2 weeks. You'll only find that out at the border when you enter at the airport. The CBP officer, you know, the immigration line, that's the Border Patrol CBP. They will review your paperwork. If there's nothing to worry about, they'll stamp it, 6 months, this is your departure date. If not, if there's something that comes up in the system, they might only give it to you for 3 months. Like, for example, if you're pregnant, they don't allow pregnant women to stay more than 2 months or 1 month because they don't want you to deliver your child here. They want you to go back to your home country.
But a lot of them do. They come with that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Pooja, we do get, well, I'd say since, where we work in the hospital, people come from different countries, especially to deliver the child here. Exactly. They want the kids to be a U.S. citizen. Yeah. I can name the countries, but which is, I don't want you to. But different countries, people come and do that.
They do. And what they usually do is they overstay their visa. So they're most likely, if we were to look into their records, they're probably illegal.
Oh yeah.
What happens to the child? The child is born here.
Yeah.
The child is a U.S. citizen.
Child is a U.S. citizen, and that is why under the immigration law, a child cannot file for their parents until the child turns 21.
Oh, because 21. It used to be 18, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
21. They don't want what's called anchor babies. They don't want people coming from different countries to have a child only for the purpose of getting green card. Then, then it would just be a free for all.
Mm-hmm. Also, you hear a lot of these asylum cases,
Yeah.
And then they come here, and what is their status when they come like that?
So there are two types of asylum. Asylum can be filed either if you come here legally on any type of visa, and let's say you have a threat, and it's important, it's not just a threat, it's a threat to your life, meaning if you go back to your country, you will die. I had a client from Nigeria that came in about 2 weeks ago. She's facing asylum issues where she came in here illegally because she was part of a tribe that was doing certain things to women that she didn't agree with. And now if she were to be found out, they would kill her because she voiced her voice against them. Mm-hmm. So it's important that we have to show that it's a life and death type of situation. That's number one. Now, if you entered the country legally, you can file what's called affirmative asylum. Affirmative asylum simply means that you are not yet in deportation. If your asylum case gets denied, the next thing that they're going to do is they're going to put you in deportation. If you come here illegally and you get picked up at the border, then you're going to be put into deportation proceedings, and then you'll have to fight your case from there. The biggest question we get with asylum that's always attached is, when am I going to get my work permit?
Yes, I know.
In the past, the rule was you would file for asylum, and after 180 days, that was the clock. 180 days after that, you could file for the work permit. Now, before President Trump left, he changed the rule to 1 year. So the timelines for asylum are very strict. 1 year within your entry to the United States, you must file for your asylum application. If it crosses 1 year, it's going to be difficult to get it even into the courts. Number two, you can only file for work permit 1 year from the date you filed asylum, not from your entry.
I see.
So, and then it's another almost 6 to 12 months of processing time. So you're not going to get your work permit for at least 2 years. And that is intentional because, again, the government doesn't want you coming here freeloading, thinking you're just going to get a work permit and work. The asylum is, asylum is a beautiful tool for people who are really in need. So we want to make sure that those are the type of people coming.
I mean, you hear all these people coming from the South America and all these people coming in illegally through Texas and the small kids and all that.
Yeah. And they're all really being turned away at the border. So what happens when you enter illegally at the border, the first thing that they're going to do, or they should do, unfortunately, they don't do it all the time, but what they should do is they do a credible fear interview. And I'm talking about this intentionally because I want to make sure people have had this right. The credible fear interview essentially has a border patrol officer asking you questions about your issue, why you feel like you're going to be killed. And if you pass that interview, they let you at least enter and have your right to fight for asylum. If you don't pass that interview, they're not even going to let you enter. They're going to turn you right back where you came from.
But what about the small kids who the parents just let them go? And what happens to those kids? I mean, a lot of kids, they come they're unaccompanied by their own parents. They come with somebody else.
Illegal भी आ रहे हैं ना, Mexico से या दूसरी कंट्री से, border से आ रहे हैं. मेरा भी क्वेश्चन था यही, जो young guys are working in the gas station, उनका बताओ उनके बारे में कुछ, वो कैसे अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, जो illegal Mexico से या और किसी कंट्री से ऐसे ही under the wire नीचे से आ रहे हैं, illegal. I mean,
even a lot of the waiters a lot of the waiters you go in the Indian restaurant and they can. I think that some of them they're not legal. They're just working.
उनका क्या procedure है? उनका time लगता है, हो सकता है, नहीं हो सकता.
What is we can feel bad for them.
Again, it's the same process. If they've come here illegally and they're out, then they most likely have had a credible fear interview, and they should lodge the asylum application within 1 year. They need to talk to an immigration attorney and really make sure it's a good one. Because if you're here in New York, New Jersey, the East Coast, it's become very difficult to get asylum cases approved. Just, there's a high level of fraud that's going on. So it's understandable. If they don't file it within that 1 year timeline, then they likely will not have any other avenue of relief. And if they think they're going to get married and get a green card through that, that's also going to be very difficult because, again, it's a fraud marriage. And there are systems in the immigration agency to weed those type of cases out. The other problem is if you've entered illegally and let's say you were never found. Unko pata hi nahi hai ki aap yahan pe.
Wait, I was going to ask that question. A lot of people are here, they're living here for so many years.
लीगल
रह रहे हैं,
20 years लोग वैसे भी यहाँ हैं जो 20 साल से रह रहे हैं.
20 years, 30 years. I mean, they don't want to talk about this thing, but they are living here.
It's true. I mean, and the unfortunate reality is that they have no way of getting a green card. So what happens is the reason that they're able to live here is, and this is where, right, the government is duplicitous. It doesn't want you here, but it also says, chalo agar aap yahan pe ho, to fir taxes pay karo. So what you do is you get an EITN number, which you can get through any accountant. And you get the EITN number, which essentially serves as a substitute for a Social Security.
Social Security, yeah.
So you're able to open businesses, you're able to get benefits, you're able to open bank accounts. Nowadays, most banks need a Social Security number to open an account, but you can go to international banks like TD Bank, because that's a Canadian bank. They only need a passport. So they're able to live and spend their whole life in this country. But the problem is that if, God forbid, this is always where it becomes an issue, as they get older and their parents are getting older, if something happens, they can never go back.
They can't go back. That's the only thing. They can't travel. They can't travel abroad. They have to stay here.
ट्रैवल किया, उनके माँ बाप मर चुके हैं, वो जा नहीं पाए। मैं हैरान हो रहा हूँ, यहाँ पैसा कमाए जा रहे हैं और वह जा नहीं पाए। एक और क्वेश्चन था, हबट कनाडा से कोई लड़का यहाँ शादी करने आए, कनाडा तो ओपन है ना, पीपल कैन कम एंड गो, राइट? जैसे हम भी वहाँ जा सकते हैं।
Well, it depends, right? If the boy is a Canadian citizen, then he has that tourist visa, the open border policy.
नहीं, हम लोग जाते हैं, हम लोग कनाडा जाते हैं, हमें we don't need a visa.
You're American citizen, so that's why.
या तो same thing, वो जो Canadian है, वो यहाँ शादी करता है अगर, तो उसका क्या procedure है?
So same thing, he has to determine if he wants to file here in America or he wants to file at the Canadian embassy. Canadian embassies are also taking 1.5 to 2 years to process everything. I mean, overall, the case from start to finish, like we talked about the timelines early on. So if you're able, I have a client right now who she is in Canada and her husband is a doctor over here. And what we've told her is like, you have to be mentally ready. Agar aap yahan America mein case file karoge, right? You have to wait until you get, you cannot go back. If you go back to Canada before you get a travel permit, your application will be abandoned. And if we file for your green card here in America, it's going to take, again, 6 to 12 months to get that travel permit. So if, again, God forbid, if you're stuck here, or a lot of times, like if you don't have a job, right? If you without a work permit, you can't work in this country. People problem. So again, I would urge everybody to have to speak to an attorney. You have to book a consultation. Everything that I'm advising you right now is all superficial level. It's not detailed. And this information is just to give you a basic, maybe an introduction. It should not be used to make a decision for your life.
Let me ask you one quick question. I mean, all these scenarios that we are talking about, how much, like, for example, like somebody is getting married or whatever, and over here with the tourist visa and all that, you know, we just talked about that. He does it on his own. And then one person, same scenario, comes to you.
Sure.
So how much time and aggravation or whatever you can say, what's the big difference between that and how much time can you save?
I actually have a video on this as well on our Instagram and Facebook and everything. Why should I hire an immigration attorney? Right? Yeah. Why should I pay you thousands of dollars when I'm educated? I can write my date of birth and my address by myself. Why do I need you? Why do I need to hire you? The reason you need to hire me is you don't know if your birth certificate is improper. You don't know if your wife has a criminal background and we have to present those documents. You don't know if I can, for example, I just told you, you cannot leave the country until you get a travel permit. What if you leave the country and then your whole application, you've just spent almost a green card application will cost you $2,000 with the government. You've lost that money. A lot of times the biggest issues that we see is birth certificates are improper. Marriage certificates are improper. And there's no proof to confirm your identity. How are you going to solve that problem? That's where I come in. We make sure that your paperwork is so tight that all you have to worry about is processing time. If your paperwork is not tight, if it's not okay, you're going to get what's called a request for evidence, an RFE. What's happened with the triggering of an RFE? Your case is now stopped. So now you have to respond to it. Now you have to find an attorney. Now you have to find one that has time to do all your paperwork. You might have to get paperwork from India.
Yeah,
depending on how long that's going to take. That could be another month of delay. Now, acha khasa aapka case chalta jata, lekin because you didn't want to pay the money initially, you're causing yourself 2 or 3 months of delay.
And now, let's say that one of the cases that you get, let's say the guy afterwards realizes that maine galti ho gayi, I should go to the immigration lawyer. Then when he does come and then you see that there's a flaw in either the marriage certificate or birth certificate, so how do you get that clarified? Let's say in India, for example, the person is born in India, so wahan ka aapke paas birth certificate hai. So what do? You get in touch with, how do you get that clarified or documented properly?
The responsibility that we take on is we will prepare all of the documents that you need based on your case-by-case issue. But you then have to coordinate with an agency or people in India to get that sorted out. We don't need original copies. You can just scan them and fax them to us, email them to us. That's fine. We do have a team of attorneys in India. But I'll tell you, जैसे वो कहते हैं ना कि जब तक आपको खुद ही नहीं धक्का मार के कोई चीज करते इंडिया में नहीं होता. So I can only do so much. I have a team. If people don't have, people in India, they don't have the systems. But the best way to do it is we will prepare all your stuff and you go get it done from whichever department or people that needs to be done. I'll tell you another issue that's going to come up is now the cost of the attorney is going to be more. I had a client that came to me, पहले हमसे उन्होंने consultation ली, ठीक है? We had done some work for his colleague, for his friend, and they said कि नहीं, she's too expensive, I don't want to do it, मैं खुद कर लूँगा, ठीक है? End में आ गया, he got what's called a NOID, Notice of Intent to Deny, the whole case. Because they were saying कि इसकी तो 2 शादियां already हो चुकी हैं, ये तीसरी शादी को कैसे करेंगे? And he explained the whole system to me कि this is, ये ऐसे था, ये वैसे था, this is not correct. I was like, जब मैं पहले कह रही थी, तो मैं quote कर रही थी, now you have to pay double. And the reason why you're paying more is because now we only have 30 days to give an answer. The notice, the paperwork that's sent from immigration, sometimes you have 30 days, sometimes you have 60 days. If you don't submit everything within that time, they will not give you an extension. It is not their issue. That was your responsibility. You should have had all the paperwork at the beginning when you filed the case.
So they're quite very strict because there's so many cases. They have to be.
There's cases. There's a backlog. Abhi jo humne 2020 mein cases file kiye the na, I have a client who did a citizenship in May of 2020. 3 saal hone wale hain, abhi tak us bechari ki interview nahi aayi hai. So they don't have.
This is a good question. Like somebody who wants to become a citizen.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got mine, it took a few months or something. I don't know. It didn't take that long. Actually, I did it myself. I didn't go through the attorney. I went myself. But now I think because things are so backlogged.
Oh yeah.
Approximately, how long does it take from
so
a green
right
card holder to get a citizenship after living here for 5 years or marrying a citizen? Either way.
So the rule is first in time for essentially last in time is first out. So meaning the people who filed before, they're kind of just stuck, they're floating. People that are filing today, their citizenships are getting processed within 6 to 12 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so honestly, the people that are filed in 2020 and all those times, they're facing a lot of issues.
Because of the COVID situation, because the COVID, everything stopped. I think everything kind of stopped, right?
Because of COVID, their cases are stuck in the backlog situation, and immigration is making an executive decision. Either we can process the cases that are coming in now and get them out, or we can process the cases in the back. And what they're saying is, let's process what's in front of us, and the people in the back, they're already waiting. Let them wait a little bit longer.
Oh,
yeah.
That I personally won't agree. I mean, I won't like that. I have to wait that long.
Absolutely. It's a big issue.
That is a big issue.
Some people are stuck. They can't travel. They can't go out. But unfortunately, that is what it is.
But can't you redo it again? Like you can apply again for the same thing, or cancel that one and do it again? No.
It's going to revert back to the original application, and in fact, it might cause more problems because now we have to merge the 2 files into one.
So you're kind of stuck there without knowing when it's going to happen.
Exactly. I mean, there are some tools that we can use, but I'll be very honest with you. I tell my clients, don't expect much.
Even if they go through you, same thing, or akele jana ke, I mean, doing themselves, it's going to take. But if they go through you, it's going to be the same process, the same time. Or
if they go through us, what we usually recommend is filing a lawsuit against immigration.
Oh, okay.
And what that will do is, वो कहते हैं ना कि भाई को तो पता नहीं है कि उन्होंने क्या करना है, लेकिन बाप को involve करो तो सारे सीधे हो जाते हैं. So then when we file a lawsuit against the immigration, it goes to Washington D.C. So it's going directly. It's a federal lawsuit at the high level. It's against the USCIS agency, the American Attorney General. It goes to the Washington D.C. office, and then we get prompt results. So it's a little bit more money. But if time is of the essence, for example, we had a client who had her citizenship pending. She really needed to go back to Sri Lanka because her mother was terminally ill. So it was a time issue. So we filed this lawsuit, and what we did was, in a settlement, we negotiated that within 60 days she would get her interview, and luckily all of that happened and it worked out for her.
Okay, so then you have to take different steps, which is really sad thing, because people do have genuine cases and genuine reasons. They cannot wait that long. They have business, they have personal matters to take care of, traveling, all kind of stuff, all kind of.
पूजा जी, एक और क्वेश्चन है. एक हमारे दोस्त हैं, बॉम्बे से हैं, तो वो टूरिस्ट यहाँ अपने लड़की के पास आए हुए हैं. तो he is like a भजन सिंगर, माता के भजन गाते हैं. He want to stay with temple. How long they take for temple? I mean, प्रोसीजर है उनका पंडित जी का अप्लाई करने का, उसका क्या टाइम लगता है?
So that's called an R1 visa, religious worker visa. You're looking at, again, he'll have to go back to India. Unka wahan pe stamping hoga embassy ke through, so it won't really happen here. And the processing time overall, again, is between 1 to 2 years because of the delays in India. Problem of India mein problem kya aa gaya ki from the months of about March to November, they're okay. But then from December to February, COVID rises in India. And then the COVID causes embassy shutdowns. Since COVID has happened, we've seen a trend that every winter, the embassy gets shut down for 2 to 3 weeks, even 4 weeks at a time. Which now, all of the cases that are scheduled, you're now stuck, you're waiting.
Actually, उनका 10 साल का वीजा है, embassy से 10 साल का, वो आते जाते रहते हैं. He want to stay here for forever. मैंने कहा भी वो हिसाब मुझे मालूम नहीं उसका कैसे करते हैं. कि मंदिर के थ्रू कर तो सकते हैं, मगर you have to be involved lawyer and they will process all the papers and everything.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to speak to them. I think more on a one-to-one because there's a lot of different factors.
Yeah, I got it. And मैं एक और request करता हूँ आपसे कि we need a one more session with you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This hour almost gone.
We have so many questions. I mean,
I'm just thinking. Us you have to come back again.
Yeah, मेरा भी अब बातों में मुझे ख्याल आ गया. बातों में मुझे ख्याल आया कि how come those guys don't believe in working from home?
Yeah.
Those office. Everybody in the whole world is working from home. Why can't those guys work from home?
Right.
It just came to my mind. It just came to mind. Instead of closing down, they should be doing something at home. I mean, home or home office or whatever. When they shut down, they can do that.
Exactly.
The problem with immigration is that this is federal property. The computer, the laptops, the systems are all federal clearance and federal property. So what you would have to do then is either take federal property off of federal grounds into your home for which there's no authorization.
Right.
And they have started to give some availability to the immigration officers to work from home. But even with that, again, President Trump kindly left a policy intact before leaving that required mandatory interviews for all cases. So what that means is before mother and father cases, parents, right? Mm-hmm. There's no doubt that this is my mother. There's a birth certificate. In some cases, we even put in a DNA sample. We'll put in a DNA test to show that this is indeed, if the documentation isn't proper. Again, this type of stuff you get from the attorney. You'll never think of it on your own.
Right.
But now, even in these type of cases, they're doing mandatory interviews, and literally for 20 minutes, ek dusre ki shakal dekhte rehte hain. Oh, okay, you did this, you did that. They also know that they just have to do the interview out of a necessity to issue the green card. And again, going back to your point, why can't they work from home? Because they can't do interviews from home. So if not from one way, the other way, they still have to.
Can't do any Zoom interviews. Nahi kar sakte. No, it has to be.
That's really funny that they're saying they cannot do Zoom interviews because they have to physically check you in, check your fingerprints and all of that when you come in. But during COVID, what they were doing was we were doing essentially Zoom interviews with the immigration agency in the immigration building. They were in one office and we were in the other office. So they have that.
Okay.
But the issue comes to biometrics. So once you enter the building and you get your screening, they check your fingerprints to confirm your identity. So they most likely don't have that system from home yet.
So they're not really prepared for all these pandemic things and all that, which they should be, because we never know this is gonna continue, this kind of things.
This is a fact.
This is going to be fact of life, and people like businesses are getting used to people working 3 days from home, 2 days going to the office. That kind of thing is already in place. So they should come up with something that could benefit the public. I mean, they cannot just keep it hanging because of 3 weeks off.
I agree. And to your point, if for our viewers that would like to book an appointment with our firm, again, law@dalalmehta.com or 732-283-7400. But I'm only available for in-office interviews on Tuesdays and Fridays because I work 3 days from home. So we don't do walk-ins. We do have one office in Iselin in New Jersey, and we have a second location in Bensalem, PA. And so in Bensalem has a huge growing Indian population. So, and even if you're not in those two places, of course, we have clients calling us from, India, Australia, Dubai, California. Immigration is the same all over the world.
That is true.
For America, and wherever your needs are, I will fly to you. So I have clients in Florida. I just did an interview in California in May. We had another one in Tennessee in April. So our feed, as my family says, is ke pair to udi rehte hai. But we're doing work.
That's the kind of work it is. I mean, you're doing an excellent job. I mean, सबको मैं कहना चाहती हूँ, देखो आपको कोई क्वेश्चन है किसी किस्म का, if anybody or one of your relatives or somebody's in India or anywhere else and they need help, guidance or something, please do get in touch with Pooja. Look at how much information she has given us in 45 minutes. I mean,
God bless her. God bless her.
All kind of questions we asked her, shadi ki, idhar ki, domestic, everything. So she's answered. So if you have any questions or anything, please get back to us. And like now, she just gave you all her information. इनकी कंपनी का नाम है Dalal and Mehta Immigration Law in Iselin. She's there, and she also is in Pennsylvania. She just gave the name. Phone number भी अभी दिया है. So please, we're going to write it down, the phone number, and then let me do that right now. What's the phone number, Pooja? 732. Okay.
283.
What is it?
283.
283. 7400. Okay, so this is the phone number for her office. Please do get in touch. You need more information, any help, any kind of stuff, do go to her. She look at all the stuff that she's answered to us today. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm so happy that you came and joined us today.
It's God connects good people to each other.
Yeah, no, we'll probably call you back again because this is a timely thing, and people do need. There might be some people with questions and they want you to come back. And I want to thank Anilji and Asha ji for bringing Pooja to Dil Diyan.
Now Veena ji in the house, we have a DDG house, we have a doctors, now we have a lawyer for the DDG too in our house. So we have musicians, we have different,
different people.
We get a lot of people, we got it on our platform. So now we hired you, Pooja, for DDG.
Oh, absolutely.
Kamlesh ji, she's in New Jersey. आप भी New Jersey में हो. So Kamlesh ji is saying that great session today. Thanks for all your help for bringing Pooja. So thanks again, Anil ji and Asha ji, for bringing her here, and thanks so much.
It's always our pleasure. This is our home. This is our.
Pooja ji, you have to promise us before you leave, you will come again with us.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll give a special shout out to my Tayaji for actually recommending me. Who really Thank you, Vijay uncle. Thank you for always keeping me in mind.
It was really a pleasure to have you because a lot of questions when I had in my mind I asked. Some people asked over here, some questions I asked, they were probably they're relevant to them as well. So these questions we just asked generally, but next time we'll ask different stuff and we'll go over some different things.
Say one last thing. If you are on Facebook, Dalal and Mehta has a Facebook page, and from there you can WhatsApp us from your phone. So if you don't remember the phone number or you're browsing late at night watching our videos, you can WhatsApp us directly to the business page, and one of my team members will get back to you right away.
So it's Dalal and Mehta Immigration Law. You have a Facebook page with that name.
Absolutely. Okay. I believe the handle is Dalal Mehta LLC, or if you just Google Dalal and Mehta Immigration, all of our information will come up in the Google.
Very good. Keep it up, Bete. Keep it up. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I'm so
happy. एक second मैंने फोटो भी लेनी पड़ेगी.
एक फोटो लो जो हमें एक बार में छपवानी है.
busy talking. I mean, we are busy, but we have to take a picture. Okay. Thank you so much, Pooja, for coming, and have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you.
Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all of our veterans and all of our military families.
You have to remember that. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asha ji, Anil ji.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Veena ji. Thank you, Pooja. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Stay.
Thank you.